Two large signs greet drivers entering Kern River Canyon in California, one in English and one in Spanish, each carrying a running count of the dead, a number that reached 325 over 55 years, with more than 100 of them drowned since the year 2000. Most people picture a dangerous river as obvious, churning whitewater, a roaring gorge, a place you would never wade into. The truth is stranger and worse. The deadliest rivers in America are usually the ones that look calm, the ones a family stops at on a hot afternoon, the ones with a swimming hole the locals have used for years. This is the record of 11 of them, and of the specific hidden reasons the water takes people who never saw it coming. We are counting down, ranked by how completely the danger hides behind a peaceful surface. By number 1, you will understand why the flattest, quietest stretch of river can be the single most lethal, and why the water gives no warning at all. Number 11, the Chattooga River, Georgia and South Carolina. We start on the river that Hollywood made famous and then quietly kept killing people. The Chattooga runs the border of Georgia and South Carolina, a federally protected wild and scenic river of exceptional beauty, and the setting for the whitewater scenes in the film Deliverance, which is exactly the problem. The obvious question is, what makes a movie star river dangerous? The answer is that the fame draws people who have no business on it. The U.S. Forest Service counts nearly 40 fatalities on the Chattooga since 1970, and the pace has held at roughly 1 death a year despite decades of added safety rules. The killers here are the undercuts, ledges where the current flows underneath the rock, dragging a swimmer into a space they cannot climb out of, and rapids with names like Sock'em Dog. In 1996, a group of Boy Scouts from Atlanta were rafting the river when they capsized in that rapid. 4 of the boys drowned. The Chattooga looks like an adventure you have already seen on a screen. What the screen leaves out is the undercut rock, and the fact that the river has been claiming a life a year, quietly for half a century. Number 11 belongs to the river that people underestimate because they think they already know it. Number 10, the Salmon River, Idaho. Now to Idaho, and a river whose nickname should be a warning. The salmon is called the River of No Return, a name that predates the rafting industry, from an era when boats could ride the current downstream but never fight their way back up. The obvious question is what turns a legendary rafting river into a killer. The answer is the water itself. Cold, fast, and fed by mountain snowmelt that keeps it frigid even in summer. Fall out of a raft here and the shock of the cold hits before the current does. The fatality record is a steady drumbeat of the same event. A woman thrown from a raft near Riggins. A man drowned after falling from a raft near Stanley. A woman lost on the Middle Fork. A kayaker on the Lower Salmon. Different people, different stretches, the same ending. Separated from the boat. In cold water, moving faster than anyone can swim. The salmon is beautiful, and it is run safely by thousands of people every year with guides and gear. But it does not forgive the moment of separation, and the cold does half the work before the rapids finish it. Number 10 belongs to the river that was named centuries ago for the simple fact that it only lets you travel one way. Number 9, the Arkansas River, Colorado. Now the river that lulls people with its own calm stretches. The Arkansas River in Colorado is one of the most popular whitewater runs in America, and along its length, the rapids range from gentle class Y riffles to violent class 5, sometimes within sight of each other. The obvious question is why that range is dangerous rather than convenient. The answer is the assumption it breeds. A visitor puts in on a calm, sunlit stretch, decides the river is friendly, and floats downstream straight into water that changes character without warning. The Arkansas can shift from a lazy drift to a technical, boat-flipping rapid faster than an inexperienced paddler can read it. And the fatalities cluster exactly there, among people who judged the whole river by the easy part they started on. In 2023 alone, 18 people died on Colorado's rivers, many of them on runs just like this one, swollen by a heavy snowmelt season that turned familiar water into something else. The Arkansas is not a monster, it is a shapeshifter, and that is worse because it teaches you to trust it right before it changes. Number 9 goes to the river that shows you its calmest face first. Number 8, the Rio Grande, Texas, and the Southwest. Now a river carrying a burden of death that has almost nothing to do with recreation. The Rio Grande runs nearly 2,000 miles along the Texas and Mexico border, and along much of it the water looks slow, shallow, and utterly harmless. The obvious question is how a river that looks that mild becomes one of the deadliest in the country. The answer is what the calm surface hides. And who is crossing it? Beneath that placid appearance run deceptively strong currents, sudden drop-offs where a shallow ford becomes deep water in a single step, and undertows that pull a person under without warning. Untold thousands of people have died attempting to cross the Rio Grande, and by some counts thousands in the past decade alone, many of them entering exactly because the water looked safe enough to wade. It is a river whose danger is inseparable from its geography, and its record is one of the grimmest of any waterway in America. The Rio Grande is the clearest proof of this list's rule. The water that looks the most crossable is often the water most likely to take you. Number 8 belongs to the border river that kills more than anything by looking harmless. Number 7, the Mississippi River. Now the largest river in North America, and one of the most quietly lethal, not because it looks dangerous, but because it looks enormous and slow, like a moving lake. The obvious question is how a river this vast and this flat drowns people. The answer is everything happening beneath the surface. The Mississippi is deep, over 100 feet at points like Algiers Point in New Orleans, and its current carries a weight and velocity that no swimmer can fight. Rescuers describe it plainly. Even with a life jacket, you can be pulled down, because eddies and undertows form behind bridge piers and obstructions and drag you beneath the surface. The water hides submerged debris that has traveled from as far as Minnesota, barge traffic that throws waves capable of washing people off the bank, and collapsing banks that pull waders into the deep. And it is cold enough that a fall can trigger an involuntary gasp underwater. Bodies here are frequently never recovered. The Mississippi kills by disguising its power as placidity, a surface so wide and smooth that it reads as gentle, over a current strong enough to make even a life jacket a coin flip. Number 7 belongs to the river that looks like still water and moves like a freight train. Number 6, the New River Gorge, West Virginia. Now a river with one of the great misnomers in American geography. The New River in West Virginia is, despite its name, one of the oldest rivers on the continent, and it carved a gorge deep enough to become a national park and a serious killer. The obvious question is what makes gorge water so much more dangerous than open river? The answer is the hydraulics that big water creates. As the New River drops through its gorge, it builds powerful rapids and beneath them, recirculating holes and undertows that can trap and hold a swimmer against the force of the whole river. The rocks are undercut, the current is heavy, and the walls of the gorge make rescue slow and access hard. The National Park Service incident record for the gorge runs for decades of drownings, and the pattern is consistent. Swimmers and paddlers pulled into hydraulics they could not climb out of, in water whose power is hidden by the beauty of the canyon around it. The New River Gorge is a place people come to admire, and its scenery is exactly what distracts from its force. Number 6 belongs to the ancient river, whose deepest danger is the machinery of moving water itself. Number 5, the Colorado River, Grand Canyon. Now the river that carved the most famous landscape in America, and kills inside it every year. The Colorado runs through 7 states, but its deadliest stretch is the roughly 300-mile run through the Grand Canyon, where the walls rise 4,000 feet above the water. The obvious question is why a river this famous, this regulated, this guided still takes lives. The answer is the sheer scale and the sheer heat working together. Between 2005 and 2019, Grand Canyon National Park recorded 244 river-related fatalities, a category that includes the Colorado's cold, powerful rapids and the brutal environment around them. 2024 was especially deadly. As many as 8 people died in the canyon area in just 42 days. The river water is shockingly cold. Released from the bottom of an upstream dam, the air above it can exceed 110 degrees, and the combination ambushes hikers and rafters who prepared for one and not the other. The Colorado in the canyon is not an easy river dressed up as a hard one. It is a genuinely serious river that people attempt anyway, drawn by the most spectacular scenery on the continent. Number 5 belongs to the river whose beauty is precisely the bait. Number 4, the Potomac River, Great Falls, now the one that breaks people because of where it is. The Potomac River, just outside Washington, D.C., within sight of the monuments, contains one of the deadliest stretches of whitewater in the eastern United States, and it looks from most angles like a calm, suburban river. The obvious question is how a river beside the nation's capital kills so reliably. The answer is that the calm is a lie told by the surface. Below Great Falls, the Potomac narrows from nearly 1,000 feet wide to as little as 60 as it rushes through River Gorge, and the surface goes smooth again, while underneath, invisible undercurrents and whirlpools move downward, pulling swimmers 15 to 30 feet under and trapping them beneath submerged rock ledges. A park official compared the undertow to being run through a washing machine and said it is stronger than an Olympic swimmer. The statistics are staggering. The Park Service found that 51% of all river-related injuries in the Potomac Gorge are fatal. Half. The agency's own safety campaign settled on a slogan with no room for interpretation: if you enter the river, you will die. Swimming there is flatly illegal, and people drown there anyway, year after year, often within a month of each other. The Potomac's whole danger is the gap between how it looks and what it does, placid on top, a killing machine below. A park ranger put his finger on it. People let their guard down because they are near DC, not in Yellowstone. Number 4 belongs to the river that hides the deadliest water in the east under the calmest surface in the east. Number 3, the Colorado, below the dams, the cold water killer. At number 3, we name a mechanism that turns even the mildest-looking western rivers lethal: dam-released cold water. Below the great dams of the Colorado and its tributaries, and below dams across the American West, the water discharged from deep in a reservoir comes out near freezing, even in the height of summer, even where the air is scorching. The obvious question is why cold water matters when the current looks gentle. The answer is cold water shock, and it kills faster than any rapid. When a warm body hits water in the 40s or 50s, the reflex is an involuntary gasp. And underwater, that gasp inhales the river, followed by a spike in heart rate, hyperventilation, and within minutes a loss of muscle control that makes swimming impossible. A person who could cross a warm pool with ease becomes helpless in cold water in under a minute, regardless of skill. It is why so many drownings on these rivers happen to strong swimmers on calm stretches on beautiful days. The water looked fine, and the temperature did the killing before the current ever had to. The cold water rivers of the West are the purest trap of all, because they revoke swimming ability itself the moment you enter. Number 3 belongs to the water that looks perfectly calm and stops your body from saving you. Number 2, the Kern River, California. Now the river with the running death toll on a highway sign and a reputation earned drop by drop. The Kern pours out of the southern Sierra Nevada near Mount Whitney, and by most reckonings it is the deadliest river in the United States. The obvious question is what makes the Kern outrank rivers 10 times its size. The answer is the gradient. The Kern is among the steepest rivers in the country, dropping over 70 feet in a single mile in places, which turns snowmelt into a chute of fast, cold, chaotic water studded with strainers and sieves. It is fed directly by high mountain snow, so it can spike in volume and speed without warning as the day warms and the melt increases. The signs at the canyon entrance keep a count that reached 325 over 55 years, more than 100 of them since 2000, and the overwhelming majority of the dead are out-of-town visitors, people from the Los Angeles basin who stop at a beautiful mountain river and wade into water far stronger than it looks. The Kern earns its title honestly, one visitor at a time, precisely because it looks like a refreshing place to cool off and is in fact a steep, freezing, accelerating trap. Number 2 belongs to the river that posts its own body count and keeps adding to it anyway. Number 1, the Lowhead Dam, the drowning machine. And so we arrive at number 1, and it is not a single river, but a structure hidden in hundreds of them, the deadliest thing in American moving water, and the one almost no one recognizes until it is too late. The Lowhead Dam. Engineers who study it call it, without exaggeration, the drowning machine. Consider what it is and why it is worse than any rapid. A Lowhead Dam is a small wall, often just a few feet high, spanning a river, built decades ago for mills, water levels, or sewage control, and now largely obsolete. From upstream, it is nearly invisible. The water simply slides over a smooth horizon line, giving no hint of the drop. But at the base, the falling water creates a submerged hydraulic, a churning, recirculating current. A backwash that pulls anything floating back toward the dam, forces it down, and cycles it over and over like a washing machine that never stops. Researchers found that the upstream pull of that current is as strong as a varsity swimmer at full effort, and the water is so aerated, so full of churned-in bubbles, that it loses buoyancy. A person wearing a life jacket still cannot float out of it. The dam spans the whole river, so there is no calm water to escape to. Rescue is nearly impossible, and a horrifying share of the victims are would-be rescuers, pulled in trying to save someone else. The numbers are the quiet horror. Researchers at Brigham Young University documented more than 1,000 deaths at Lowhead dam sites through the end of 2022, roughly 50 people a year, and they believe the real number is higher because no agency officially tracks them. There is no national inventory of where these dams are, and few states require any warning signs. One structure alone, the Dock Street Dam on the Susquehanna River in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, has killed at least 30 people, making it the deadliest Lowhead dam in the country, a 6-foot wall in a city, invisible from the water, that has drowned people for decades. Number 1 belongs to the drowning machine because it is the perfect expression of this entire list. A hazard that looks like nothing, that even a life jacket cannot save you from, hiding in plain sight in rivers all across America. And here is the pattern, because none of this is a run of freak accidents. Look at what actually recurs across all 11. The deaths cluster where the water looks safest, the calm stretch, the smooth horizon line, the shallow ford, the gentle put-in, because that is where people let their guard down. The cold does the killing as often as the current, revoking a strong swimmer's ability in under a minute on a beautiful day. And the same brutal fact appears again and again. A life jacket, unworn, would have saved most of them, and in the worst hydraulics, even a worn one might not. Nationally, most of the roughly 11 drownings that happen in America every day occur in natural water, and rivers take a steady, uncounted share because there is no central database, no single agency counting the dead on America's rivers at all. So this list was never really about whitewater. Fear of a roaring rapid keeps people out of it. It is about the opposite, the smooth, quiet, sunlit water that talks people out of the caution the river demands, right up until the moment the surface closes over them. The signs are still counting in Kern River Canyon. The smooth line of water still slides over the Lowhead Dam without a ripple of warning. And somewhere on a calm stretch of river this summer, on a hot afternoon that started perfectly safe, someone is wading in past their knees, certain that water this quiet could not possibly be the thing that kills them. What is known is that the river keeps no count of its own, that the calmest surface hides the strongest pull, and that the flat sunlit water beside every road in this country tells you almost nothing about the current underneath it, invisible and moving, the way rivers have always moved toward the people who mistook quiet for safe.